If you are one of my very first subscribers, then you probably know that I'm an Ash junkie. I just love this Warframe, and in fact, I have featured a bunch of Ash videos in this channel. Ash is just amazing because we can create tons of awesome synergy with this Warframe. Most of the time, I did feature a Seeking Shuriken Ash or a Fatal Teleport build in this channel, but I did not really bother doing some builds for his BLADESTORM ability. Now I would like to change that. I would like to give you yet another awesome synergy involving Ash and his BLADESTORM ability. If you are one of those players who like the idea of shadow clones killing enemies with style, then this is the build that you are looking for. Before we head to any builds, let me give you some knowledge about Ash BLADESTORM ability. Don't worry, as I will not make this explanation complicated. So, all you need to know about Ash BLADESTORM ability is that it projects shadow clones which then attack targets that you have marked. The shadow clones deals true damage which bypasses any type of armor or shield. And best part is, each attack from your clones have a guaranteed bleed proc. The damage is affected by ability strength, steel charge, savage silence, radiant finish, executing dash, arcane fury and combo counter multipliers. However, it's not affected by any melee damage mods, and each time you mark a target, it will consume energy. The best way to decrease BLADESTORM's energy consumption is to put efficiency mods on your build and go invisible with your smoke screen ability. When you are invisible, the energy consumption of BLADESTORM per mark will be halved. In addition to its damage scaling, your combo counter provides BLADESTORM a higher bonus damage. The rule is, the higher your combo counter, the more damage you deal to the enemies. Also, you need to know that BLADESTORM's animation is affected by attack speed mods like Quickening, Gladiator Vice, Fury or Primed Fury. However, it's not affected by Berserker. In addition, Warframe abilities like Harrow's Penance or Valky's Warcry does affect this ability. And lastly, Ash can cast Teleport on a marked enemy at no additional energy cost to participate in BLADESTORM. Ash becomes invulnerable to damage for the duration of the assault, as he teleports and strikes all remaining marked enemies in a cinematic cutscene sequence. Once all marks are consumed, Ash teleports back to the original cast location to resume normal combat. As I've said earlier, there's two ways to increase its damage. One is by equipping ability strength mods, and two is by increasing your combo counter. Most players rely on high attack speed melee weapon with slash damage to increase their combo counter. It's a good idea, but there's a weapon that can do this a lot better, and that is the Venka Prime. This melee weapon is very unique as it has a modified melee combo multiplier, which adds 75% bonus damage per damage increase interval instead of the normal 50%. Thus the Venka Prime starts with a 1.75 times combo multiplier at 5 hits, then increases to 2.5 times after 15 hits, 3.25 times after 45 hits, etc. This effect applies to Ash BLADESTORM, and in my honest opinion, this is really the best weapon to use when you want to build a BLADESTORM Ash. And last thing before we proceed to the builds, there are several tricks that are really handy when using a BLADESTORM Ash. One is that a sniper rifle does help in marking targets. As you can see, I can easily mark a target while sniping with my sniper, and when I decide to recast my BLADESTORM, shadow clones just jump right at the marked target. The other thing is, aside from Arcane Fury that increase BLADESTORM's damage, and Arcane Strike that increases the animation speed of this ability, there's one really cool arcane to use while using BLADESTORM, and that is Arcane Trickery. If you are wondering what's the best way to use Arcane Trickery, then it's with a BLADESTORM Ash. I forgot to mention this earlier, but enemies that die with BLADESTORM does count as finishers, which can then activate Arcane Trickery. But remember, enemies must die with BLADESTORM's attack, and not with the bleed procs. This arcane is actually helpful in terms of facing with nullifiers, as it's like the old Nariman shadow step, which doesn't deactivate your invisibility when you are inside the bubble. Pretty handy arcane really, but you need at least 2 max arcane trickery to make it more efficient while using Ash though. Okay, I think I pretty much explain everything there is to know about BLADESTORM and how to create the perfect BLADESTORM Ash. Now, let's proceed to the builds. Before you see my builds, do take note that I tone these builds to my own playstyle. You may not like it and you can always replace the mods I've put on these builds. But before you do, let me explain first why I did choose to have these mods set up. First thing is with my Ash. As you can see, I have tons of duration, with some efficiency and power strength. The bad side of this build is range, and most people do prefer range with their BLADESTORM, but I don't. It's because 47 meters range is pretty sufficient for me, and I did tone this build for high level endurance runs. In my opinion, duration is really handy in high level because it gives you more time to become invisible. Your smoke screen ability does not just give you efficiency in casting BLADESTORM, but it's Ash's main source of survivability. Another good thing about having tons of duration with a BLADESTORM Ash is that it affects your Rising Storm augment positively. Now, this augment does let your combo multiplier last longer, and it's affected by ability duration. The longer you can sustain a high combo multiplier, the higher it gets, the more damage you deal with BLADESTORM. Lastly, 47 meters is pretty sufficient for me due to the fact that I like to mix things during a mission. I don't really spam BLADESTORM, as I usually cast it when I think it's the right time to cast it or I really need to cast it. I usually mix killing enemies with my weapons and my abilities, and I don't usually just spam abilities. But, if you really don't like the negative effect of narrow-minded, you can replace it with any duration mods like Augur Message or even Constitution. In addition, you can also replace Transient Fortitude with Intensify, but not Blind Rage. Remember that I've tuned this build towards endgame plays, and it's not really advisable to have low efficiency at endgame, as you will definitely die without energy. Lastly, you can replace the aura slot with Steel Charge for more damage on your BLADESTORM. I just have my usual dash polarity because I usually go solo, which is why I need enemy radar for enemy pathing in long survival runs, and corrosive projection if I'm on a dedicated party with 4 corrosive projection aura. For the arcanes, I have 2 times arcane trickery for more survivability and perfect for those nullifiers. But if you want more damage output and faster animation speed for your BLADESTORM, then you can replace this with Arcane Fury and Arcane Strike. Okay, we are done with my Ash. Let's proceed to my Venka Prime build. Yes, I know, almost all of the mods in here doesn't work with BLADESTORM, but remember that I said that I like to mix things, so it's good for me that my melee weapon can also help me in killing the enemies. In addition, I don't usually rely on BLADESTORM alone to increase the combo counter. What I do is, I always set 4 times combo counter as my standard before I cast BLADESTORM. That does 10k plus damage per attack of the shadow clones and mostly 4k to 5k bleed ticks. With that in mind, I have Weeping Wounds, Relentless Combination and Attack Speed mods so I can rack up my combo counter fast with my Venka Prime. Remember that this claw weapon does have slash as its primary damage, which is why I always get that 4 times combo multiplier at the shortest possible time with this weapon. And lastly, the stance is pretty much personal preference. I choose to have Vermilion Storm mainly because I tend to use quick melee most of the time rather than equipping them, and Vermilion's quick attack has a knockdown that's easily followed by a ground finisher, which causes status effect procs from every blow. Okay, let me paint a clear picture first on how this synergy works by giving you a short demo of Ash and Venka Prime in action. Yes, just these 2, and I will not be using any primaries or secondary, as I want you guys to see how good Venka Prime can be with a BLADESTORM Ash. Overall, Venka Prime perfectly synergies well with a BLADESTORM Ash. If you are planning to build a BLADESTORM Ash, then I strongly suggest that you try this combination. Do remember that I'm just showing you the damage of BLADESTORM with at least 4 times combo multiplier and some power strength. What if you can maintain that combo multiplier and achieve 7 times or more? Now that would make BLADESTORM pretty insane. So that's it. Hope that you find this video informative. Before leaving, please do me a favor and hit that like button. If it's your first time watching my videos, and you would like to see more in the future, then you can subscribe to our channel and join the grind team. Just remember to turn on notifications to receive daily updates from this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.